Visit Under the Kitchen on Facebook or at Under the Kitchen's new website. That's underthekitchen.square.site. Again, that's underthekitchen.square.site. Check out Under the Kitchen today and get your authentic, original Hawkeye print.
Raheem says, I'm from Atlanta, but I believe that this team can get there. Wanted to ask what it'll take for Iowa to get back to Atlanta, back to the Final Four, outside of just Caitlin Clark. It's a pretty broad question, but interesting one.
A lot. I mean, to become a full team, we're going to need some pieces. I don't think we're going to be at the same scenario as, we are now, where we have Caitlin Clark and then the rest. Like, I don't think we'll do that, but we're going to need key pieces to get there. I think the way that Bluter plays is, as she likes to say, beautiful basketball. So we're always going to have that in our back pocket. It's just the fact of creating a team cohesiveness that everyone is able to contribute. Because I don't think we're going to have another scenario where we have another Caitlin Clark. Like I said, there's only one.
And is there any personnel-wise, any person specifically, given the draw, now that we have the actual draw and potential route to the Final Four, that you think? I mentioned Addison O'Grady earlier just because some of the challenges, if Iowa plays and they meet Kansas State, the challenges that some of the other teams in that region bring at the 5. Is there any personnel like Taylor McCabe or someone who really needs to step up in your mind?
I think Taylor could be good for us early. I don't know about later. If you guys remember in the Ohio State game at home, she looked extremely flustered because of the type of game and the everything that was behind it. It was just too much for her. So I do think in the early beginning, she could be big for us, but I'm not sure as we get closer and down to the wire if she would be able to help us. I think if I had to put one, Kate Martin.
Okay.
Kate she needed to come to play.
Let's not forget about Aronette Vonleh for Colorado, another really talented 6'3" big that played Iowa last year. So I think, we're talking about post players, and maybe the obvious person that we're both overlooking, Kachine, would be Iowa's starting 5, and that is Hannah Stolke. Like, if she's got to play well.
I'm not overlooking her. I think Hannah will play well. It's just, is she going to be able to stay on the floor?
Well, if she doesn't stay on the floor, they're going to have problems against the likes of a Kansas State or Colorado. And you're really thrusting Addison O'Grady or maybe even an AJ Ediger into a situation that you don't want to be in.
I don't mind Addison O'Grady against Colorado, though. I don't. Because that post player is legitimately a block post player. She ain't doing nothing else outside of that. She is and so I don't feel horrible in that game if we have an Addison O'Grady. I will be a little nervous if we have an Addison O'Grady in an LSU because they are way too athletic for her.
Vonleh is averaging 14 a game.
Oh, I'm not doubting that, but I feel like because that's her position, meaning they are matching. Vonleh is not trying to spin moves. She's not doing anything quick. She's a very methodical post player. So with that being said, Addison could be able to get, I don't want to say the one up on her, but she will be able to use her length. She'll be able to stay between her and the basket. There'll be some things that she might be able to stay with them. LSU, they are way too athletic. She's going to get lost. So that's my only issue when I said I don't mind her against a Colorado.
And we talked a little bit about Ioka Lee. Obviously, they've played them 3 times over the last 2 years, lost to them twice. One in Manhattan, one in Carver, beat them down on a neutral site in Florida. If they meet them in the NCAA tournament, then that would be out in New York. So they'd get them in another different venue. And she's somebody that has dealt with some injuries this year, but someone who can definitely give Stolke in this Iowa. I mean, I think the thing with Lee, and we've talked about it with even the Nebraska big, like these bigs that have more girth. Is that the right word to use? Like,
go ahead, use girth. Go ahead.
Girth. Like these bigs with girth. Like, to me, that's where Hannah struggles. And we saw Hannah struggle a little bit with was it Kitley for Virginia Tech earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But boy,
she's a different player now than she was back then, but I get you.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see, again, who makes it out, assuming Iowa gets to that second weekend. I know it's an assumption because I'm sure all of these teams are tournament teams. West Virginia, Princeton, either one of those teams is going to give Iowa some challenges. But, I mean, every team, with the exception maybe being the 13 seed in Portland that I just don't know much about, Colorado, Drake, Kansas State all provide some challenges for Iowa specifically.